All right, well, welcome everyone. We really appreciate each of you coming out again for Spokane County's Winter Ops Press Conference. This has become an annual event to really educate the public on how we handle winter operations here and when we have snowfalls and winter events here in Spokane County. I'd like to introduce who I have here with me today is Kyle Tuig, our Senior Director of Public Works. And then we also have with us Joel Graff, who is our Maintenance and Operations Administrator, is with us here as well today. To begin this morning, I would like to remind everybody that Spokane County is responsible for over 5,100 lane miles of road. That includes our pavement as well as dirt and gravel roads, which also present their own unique challenges through the winter, but we are prepared. Spokane County has budgeted about $4.5 million for winter operations to our 4 road districts, and those also comprise 65 individuals that are ready to serve the people of Spokane County. Our equipment fleet includes 38 snowplows and sanding trucks. We have 34 graders, as you see one here behind us, and then we have 4 liquid de-icing trucks as well. Quick reminder on how our county crews handle snow and winter events. If there is something forecasted as far as a winter event, we prepare by de-icing and sanding sort of our hills, areas that are known to shade, to be in shade during those snow events, kind of those problem areas that we know and we see regularly. Once the snow has arrived, our crews will start by clearing our primary arterials, those emergency routes. Then they will move on to those secondary arterials and finally finish up with our residential neighborhoods if there is still an accumulation of snow on the ground. But please keep in mind, if there is another snow event, when we get those back-to-back snow dumpings and major storms, we will go back. And if there has been accumulation, we will go back to those main arterials and begin again. Really, the goal is to make sure we keep the roads cleared where the most amount of cars are. We want to keep as many folks safe on the road as possible. This means that it could take longer than usual to clear those 5,100 lane miles if we continue to see those back-to-back storms. And let's be honest, it does happen here in Spokane County. So that's just the quick summary of our winter operations on how we handle those. As you might recall, over the last 2 years, our Public Works employees have actually designed and built more than 24 of the snow gates, which you see, which one is fitted on this grader here behind us. But that is a very welcome addition to our fleet. Many years ago, when we didn't have these snow gates, I can assure you we would get calls regularly about those berms at the end of the driveways. So this is an addition to our equipment here that helps reduce the size of those berms at the end of your driveways. But also keep in mind, these are only fitted to work kind of in sort of your residential curbed neighborhoods that are out there. And if you happen to have any of those red reflector posts that you can put at the end of your driveway, that can help our drivers better identify where your driveways are, so that's always appreciated. The snow gates, essentially they improve the level of service that we are able to provide, and we are very thrilled to be able to add those as a part of our equipment. So far, we have added we have spent approximately $300,000 on new grader chains, grader blades, what is called a shark blade. Now, if you've never heard of a shark blade, I'm going to have our Senior Director of Public Works here, Kyle Tuig, give you a little bit of rundown on this new and exciting piece of equipment that we have for the folks here in Spokane County. So I'm going to hand it over to Kyle.
Thank you, Commissioner. So one of the common problems that we encounter every single winter is when that wet snow becomes compressed into a thick sheet of ice on that road surface, and we get that mat down there, it becomes very difficult to break through it. So it's almost impossible for a standard grader blade or plow blade, because it's flat on that surface, to dig down through it. So we have these shark blades that are installed on our graders, and the rough edges of those blades are uniquely designed to chew through the surface of that ice. So once you've broken through that surface, it's much easier for de-icer and sand to work its way in and soften it up so that we can come back and scrape it and remove it. Public Works uses both granular and liquid de-icer, Ice Slicer and Apex are the name of the products, along with salted road sand to provide traction on our road network. We've also staged equipment and supplies in various locations in order to improve our response time to a snow event. For example, we have equipment and sand at various gravel pits that we have throughout the county. It's a big county, so wherever we can have equipment or materials more closely aligned with the roads that they'll be going down upon, it just quickens our response time. So while our crews do their best to keep the traveling public safe during the winter, we also need your help. As you can see from the equipment around us, it's big, it's heavy, it's complicated to use. We work in all kinds of weather, often in the dark, meaning visibility is often very, very poor. And it is not easy if you sit in one of these graders to see behind you, especially for a smaller vehicle. So with that in mind, please stay back at least 50 feet behind equipment that is in operation, and never ever try to pass on the right-hand side. In addition, it is winter, and we encourage everyone to be prepared and pack some emergency gear in your vehicle, such as flashlights, road flares, an emergency kit, an extra warm blanket or a sleeping bag, warm gloves, hats, clothing, your windshield scraper, shovel, sand or cat litter for traction, and of course some good winter tires will certainly improve your safety on the roadways. One last thing, we often see residents snow blowing or pushing their snow from their walkways and driveways out into the roadway. Please do not, if you are blowing snow in from your property out onto the street, you can really create a hazard for a passing motorist, and then in cold temperatures that snow can be freeze solid and make it very difficult and dangerous to remove. So I'll hand it back to Commissioner Kearns.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle. Well, now I'd like to open it up to our guests here today if you have any questions for us. Nick?
So we always review our primary and secondary routes to make sure they're serving the community, and work very closely with the various school districts in Spokane County to make sure that we are well communicating our lines and our needs. We actually talk very directly with those school district traffic managers and make sure that we all understand what the event is bringing, how our response is looking. Occasionally we will shift district boundaries based on staffing levels to make sure that we can support each other and bring additional folks out to areas that are hit the most. One of the things you notice, I mean, Spokane County, the unincorporated area is huge, and no snow event hits the unincorporated county in the same uniform way throughout. So we may have a very small amount of snow out in the valley, but we could see 12 inches up here up north. Or conversely down south, especially in the farm country, we get very bad drifting and blowing snows that can completely block a road. So we have specialized equipment to handle those events down south, specifically where they occur.
You spoke earlier about things you recommend people stock up on for winter weather, especially if they get stranded out in their vehicles. For underprivileged people who may not be able to readily access all of those resources and get them loaded into their car, are there any resources you may be able to point people to so that they can get help stocking up on those resources?
I'd say Goodwill and Snap.
Yeah, I'd say probably Snap and Goodwill are probably your best bets. Just, any old throw blanket is certainly a first and foremost, as well as just, a pair of warm winter gloves and a hat will get you a long way.
I'm sure folks will have some questions or concerns, throughout the winter. How do they reach out? Who should they reach out to?
So they can certainly call Spokane County Public Works, and we can provide some response as to where we are within our operations. There's also good resources on our website. You can see where those priority routes are and the areas where we're working.
We're going to have the interactive map
Any other
again.
questions?
Well, if you'd like to come up and get some shots of the equipment over here.
Yeah,
And Commissioner Cobb, thank you very much.
absolutely. Thank you all for being
you.
here.
Hey.